you ever wondered which cars from the 1970s were the most beautiful, powerful, and unforgettable? Cars that didn't just move, but made people stop and admire them. The 1970s were a time when style mattered, shape mattered, and presence mattered. American car designers filled the roads with chrome, curves, and bold ideas that still feel timeless today. In this video, we are going to explore 10 of the greatest machines that defined beauty in motion. And the deeper we go, the better the story gets. So watch until the end, because the final cars just might change the way you see American classics forever. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS was one of those cars that carried itself with confidence. It was strong without trying too hard, stylish without any need for explanation, and full of personality from the moment you first saw its long, muscular hood. The Chevelle SS was the kind of machine that looked fast even when parked. The bold stripes that ran across the hood and trunk were more than decoration. They were a message. A message that said this car was ready for action. Under that long hood lived the legendary 454 cubic inch V8 engine, producing up to 450 horsepower in LS6 form. In an era when many cars were powerful, the Chevelle SS moved the needle even further. Drivers who pressed the gas didn't just accelerate, they launched. The deep sound of that engine became one of the most memorable noises in American car culture. People heard one coming before they saw it, and when it finally arrived, it always lived up to the sound. The Chevelle SS had a shape that aged gracefully. The roofline was clean, the stance was aggressive, and the chrome highlights gave it a touch of elegance. Inside, the interior felt straightforward but purposeful, with wide seats, a sporty steering wheel, and gauges that made the driver feel like they were in command of something serious. Families loved it, teenagers dreamed about it, and racers treated it like a rival. Today, the Chevelle SS remains one of the most respected cars from the muscle era. Collectors still pay large amounts to own one, and car shows always give it attention. It represents a time when American cars didn't apologize for being bold. And that boldness is exactly why the Chevelle SS is still considered beautiful all these years later. 1971 Buick Riviera Boat Tail. Some cars are attractive, others are striking. And then there are machines like the 1971 Buick Riviera Boat Tail, which refuse to blend in. When Buick released the Riviera with its boat tail rear design, people didn't know what to think. It looked like a speedboat mixed with a luxury coupe, and it was unlike anything else on American roads at the time. The rear glass curved down into a pointed tail, giving the car a fast and dramatic appearance even when sitting still. Under the hood, the Riviera carried a 455 cubic inch V8 engine that produced smooth power and impressive torque. It wasn't built to race around tracks, it was built to glide. Driving a Riviera felt like piloting a ship across land. Wide, confident, and silent in a way that only big luxury coupes could deliver. The steering was comfortable, the ride was smooth, and every part of the car made the driver feel important. The interior continued that theme of personal luxury. Thick padded seats, chrome trim, wood-like accents, and a sweeping dashboard layout made the cabin feel special. It wasn't just a place to sit. It was a place to enjoy the road. Passengers felt like they were part of something special, and that feeling lingers even today. Design is often about risk, and the Riviera Boat Tail proved that bold ideas can turn into timeless beauty. When you see one now at a car show, people immediately crowd around it. They point at the tail, the curves, and the long front end, trying to understand how something so unusual became so beautiful. This car didn't just show style, it showed courage. And courage in design is often what makes legends last. 1976 Cadillac Eldorado. If luxury from the 1970s had a single symbol, it would be the 1976 Cadillac Eldorado. This car wasn't built to be small, light, or modest. It was built to make a statement everywhere it went. Long, wide, elegant, and filled with chrome, the Eldorado carried a sense of importance. When one pulled up to a hotel entrance or theater, people didn't need to ask who owned it. The car itself already answered the question. Under the hood sat one of the largest engines ever put into a production American car, a 500 cubic inch V8. It didn't shout or scream for attention. Instead, it delivered smooth and quiet power, allowing the Eldorado to glide down highways with almost no effort. It wasn't about racing. It was about comfort. Cadillac understood that luxury wasn't measured in lap times. It was measured in how relaxed the passengers felt. Inside, the Eldorado felt like a living room on wheels. Thick seats, armrests, power controls, climate systems, and soft materials created an experience that modern cars still try to imitate. Even long road trips didn't feel long. The worldview of Cadillac designers was clear. Comfort matters more than speed, and elegance matters more than noise. What made the 1976 model even more meaningful was that it marked the end of Cadillac's full-size convertible era. Regulations and changing tastes would soon close the chapter on big American drop-tops. Collectors today see the Eldorado as the final salute to a time when size and presence were part of luxury. When one drives by with the top down, people still stop and admire it. Because some cars don't just age, they carry history with them. 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am brought a different kind of beauty to the American roads. While other cars were wide and muscular, the Trans Am added sharpness, curves, and purpose. Its front end looked aggressive, with a pointed nose and twin grills that made it appear ready for the next corner. The lines were smooth and sporty, giving the Trans Am a look that was fast even before the key turned. Under the hood, the Trans Am came with Pontiac's high-performance V8 engines, including the 400 cubic inch Ram Air 3 and Ram Air 4 units. These engines weren't just powerful, they were designed for real performance. The Trans Am didn't only run fast in a straight line. It handled corners, responded to steering input, and connected the driver to the road in a way that many luxury cars of the time could not match. The interior had a sporty mission as well. Bucket seats, a performance-themed dashboard, and thick-rim steering wheel created a driver-focused environment. It didn't feel like a family cruiser. It felt like a machine built for people who enjoyed spirited driving. And that's exactly what made the Trans Am special. But what makes this car beautiful today is more than just engineering. It represents a moment when American performance cars were becoming more refined and more balanced. The Trans Am wasn't only about raw muscle. It added handling, design, and personality to the formula. When you see one today, especially with its hood scoop and iconic graphics, it brings back memories of a time when cars were allowed to be dramatic. It didn't just move, it lived. 1970 Dodge Challenger R/T. The 1970 Dodge Challenger R/T took the muscle car formula and wrapped it in one of the best shapes of the decade. Long hood, short rear deck, wide stance, and clean body lines made the Challenger look powerful without needing to say a single word. It was the kind of car that people recognized instantly, even from a distance. And for many young drivers of the era, it represented freedom. Under the hood, the Challenger R/T offered engines that deserve respect, including the famous 426 Hemi. When buyers picked the Hemi, they weren't just choosing a car. They were choosing an attitude. The Hemi produced fierce horsepower and made the Challenger one of the strongest performers of the early 1970s muscle scene. The sound alone could convince people to fall in love with it. Inside, the Challenger felt sporty and inviting. The seats held the driver in place, the gauges were easy to read, and the cabin created a connection between machine and driver. It wasn't luxurious in the same way as a Cadillac, but it didn't need to be. The Challenger existed for people who cared about driving itself. What makes the Challenger beautiful now is that it blends muscle and elegance. Its surface is smooth, its shape is balanced, and its proportions feel timeless. Many cars from the 1970s carry the style of their era, but the Challenger still looks modern to this day. Modern car designers even revived the Challenger decades later, proving how powerful the original design really was. When you see one in person today, especially in bright colors like plum crazy purple or Hemi orange, it becomes clear why people still admire it. The Challenger isn't just a car, it's a statement about how good design never goes out of style. 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. The 1970 Plymouth Barracuda Cuda brought boldness into beauty. It shared the same basic platform as the Challenger, but its personality was completely different. With a shorter nose, a wide grille, and a squared-off stance, the Cuda looked aggressive in a way few other cars could match. Even people who didn't know much about cars could look at a Cuda and understand it meant business. Engine choices included everything from small V8s to the legendary 426 Hemi. When the Cuda carried the Hemi, it became one of the most feared machines on the street and strip. The Hemi Cuda wasn't just a fast car, it was a symbol of brute force. Only a small number were built, and today they have become some of the most valuable muscle cars ever sold at auctions. Inside, the Cuda kept things sporty and clean. The seats were shaped for support, the dash was laid out for quick reading, and the entire cabin was designed around the idea of driving as an experience. It didn't need fancy buttons or screens. It needed a wheel, pedals, and an engine that could shake the earth. The beauty of the Cuda isn't just in its shape or performance. It carries a spirit of rebellion. The 1970s were full of changes in culture, music, and personal freedom, and the Cuda fit right into that era. It looked wild, it sounded wild, and it made young drivers feel alive. Today, when one shows up at a car show, crowds gather instantly. People admire its stance, its curves, and the power that still seems to sleep under its hood. Some cars become collectibles. The Cuda became a legend. 1971 Lincoln Continental Mark III. Luxury can take many shapes, but few shapes were as handsome as the 1971 Lincoln Continental Mark III. This was the kind of car designed to arrive at hotels, theaters, and business meetings with grace. Long, low, and filled with chrome, the Mark III carried a sense of authority. It didn't shout like a sports car, and it didn't flex like a muscle car. It simply existed in a world of elegance. The engine under the hood was a powerful 460 cubic inch V8 that delivered smooth acceleration and confident highway cruising. The Mark III wasn't built for racing. It was built for calm travel at high speed, where the driver barely felt the road beneath the tires. The suspension soaked up bumps, the cabin stayed quiet, and passengers could relax as the car floated along. Inside, the Mark III offered one of the most refined interiors of its time. Wood-like trim, padded leather seats, deep carpeting, and chrome details made the cabin feel rich. Every button and switch had weight and purpose. It wasn't designed for flash. It was designed for comfort, dignity, and presence. What makes the Mark III beautiful today is how well proportioned it looks. Nothing feels out of place. The long hood, the sharp fenders, the hidden headlights, and the sculpted roofline come together like a well-tailored suit. It looks confident without needing bright colors or wild shapes. When you see one now, especially in black or dark green, it still carries the same energy it had decades ago. Beauty doesn't always need noise. Sometimes it just needs discipline. 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix. By the middle of the 1970s, many American cars were changing, but the 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix kept style alive. Its body was sharp and confident, with long straight lines and a pointed front end that made it look serious and composed. The roofline flowed into a short rear deck, creating a balanced shape that felt purposeful and modern for its time. Under the hood, the Grand Prix offered V8 options that provided smooth, everyday power. It wasn't trying to be a drag strip monster like earlier muscle cars. Instead, Pontiac aimed for personal luxury, performance, and comfort in one package. Drivers loved how easy it was to steer, how steady it was at highway speeds, and how comfortable it felt during long trips. Inside, the Grand Prix continued its mission of personal luxury. The seats were wide and soft, the dashboard wrapped around the driver, and the controls felt intentional. Owning a Grand Prix meant enjoying car time rather than just using a car to get somewhere. People could listen to music, cruise with friends, or travel across states in quiet comfort. Today, the Grand Prix stands as a reminder of how American cars blended strength with elegance. While many cars from the late 1970s became boxy or plain, the Grand Prix kept its design sense. It looked refined, it looked premium, and it carried a dignity that made it stand out in its decade. When collectors look at one now, they appreciate not only the shape, but also the feeling it gives. a feeling of calm power, steady confidence, and a time when cars still had real identity. 1978 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. The 1978 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 carried the performance spirit of the early muscle days into the late 1970s. While emissions and regulations slowed many cars down, Chevrolet found a way to keep the Camaro exciting and visually attractive. The Z28 package added sporty graphics, hood vents, front and rear spoilers, and wheels that made the car look fast even when parked. Under the hood, the Z28 offered V8 power that delivered respectable acceleration for the era. It wasn't as wild as the early 1970s big block muscle cars, but it still provided a thrilling driving experience. The handling was improved, the steering felt more connected, and the Camaro became one of the more engaging cars of its time. Inside, the Z28 had a sporty environment with bucket seats, a rally-style dash, and a driving position that made the driver feel involved. This wasn't a car for people who just wanted to cruise slowly. It was for those who appreciated the joy of driving, cornering, and feeling the road beneath the tires. What makes the 1978 Z28 beautiful today is how well its design captured the spirit of the late 1970s. The long hood, sloping roof, and tight rear end created a silhouette that still looks sleek today. The graphics and color choices gave the car personality, while the mechanical improvements gave it credibility. When you see one now, especially in bright colors with the Z28 stripes, it brings back memories of drive-ins, rock music, and open highways. The Camaro Z28 didn't need to dominate to be admired. It needed to inspire. And it did exactly that. 1979 Ford Thunderbird Heritage Edition. The 1979 Ford Thunderbird Heritage Edition was one of the best examples of late 1970s American luxury design. It had clean lines, sharp edges, and a grand presence that made the Thunderbird feel proud and mature. The long hood and squared-off front end gave it strength, while the smooth roofline and chrome details added refinement. It was a car that looked calm but confident. Under the hood, the Thunderbird offered smooth-running V8 engines designed more for cruising than racing. The Heritage Edition focused on comfort, silence, and a gentle ride. Drivers could travel for hours without fatigue, and passengers enjoyed the quietness inside the cabin. This made the car perfect for families and professionals who wanted something stylish without the stiffness of European luxury brands. Inside, the Heritage Edition delivered one of the nicest interiors Ford had ever placed in a Thunderbird. Plush seats, detailed stitching, padded panels, and wood-like trim gave it a warm and inviting feel. It felt like Ford was telling customers, "You deserve to travel well." And customers agreed. Today, the 1979 Thunderbird Heritage Edition stands as a reminder of American luxury before modern technology changed everything. It reflects a time when interior comfort mattered more than screens, and when exterior design mattered more than fuel economy charts. When one appears at a show today, it gets attention not because it is flashy, but because it carries itself with dignity. It is a beautiful example of how elegance can survive even in changing times. If you enjoyed this journey through stunning American automotive beauty, make sure to stay with us for more stories, more legends, and more machines that shaped history. There are still countless cars waiting to be rediscovered. Subscribe, follow along, and get ready for the next chapter. The adventure is far from over.